Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Tai'Shar, A Wheel of Time podcast. I am Will.
I'm Sam.
And today we are discussing a TV show update. We're talking about what we've heard new about the show recently. First off, I feel like we got to start off the show by saying a big thanks to the Black Tower podcast guys.
Oh, yeah, they were great. Really enjoyed being on their show, even though I think we just established that my audio was awful because my mic was not picking me up correctly. But it was really fun. They were great.
Yeah, they're really great guys. Generous to have us on the show and just good guys. It was a fun chat. I'll probably do it again, I hope.
Yeah,
someday.
It's nice to get some different perspectives on some of these things that we talk about ourselves on a regular basis and, kind of hear someone else's take on it, on topics.
I see people on Twitter of Time all the time kind of bragging on how awesome and healthy the fandom is. And I'm like, guys, let's just enjoy this while it lasts because as soon as that TV show comes out, that's all over.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the Game of Thrones, folks. You got to figure back 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. They had the same sort of setup. And yeah,
just all people who read the books and all agree that the books are good and that's all that matters. And it's probably all going to change in about a year. So let's just enjoy this period of time when we're all supportive and there's nobody too terribly toxic in the community.
Yeah, and it's a unique time because there's anticipation building for the show. And we're getting some new readers in as a result of that. But the books are still the source material.
Right. So just a big thank you to the Black Tower guys. And if you haven't checked them out, they're the Black Tower podcast. You can find them on Twitter as well as they have a Discord server. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's a pretty active Wheel of Time community. So
if you need to get your Wheel of Time questions answered in a timely fashion without waiting for another podcast episode to drop, maybe jump into the Discord.
And I do want to mention before we head into TV news, we are going to JordanCon.
Yeah, heck yeah. Happens to be 45 minutes from my house, so it's kind of nice that way.
So those of you that want to stalk Sam, you can just draw a 45-minute radius.
Great circle there, yep, from Sandy Springs.
There's probably, 2 million people that live in that space or something like that?
Give or take, I would say.
Anyway, so we will be there, but we'll talk more about that.
I can't imagine. It's probably too much to ask to hope that there is a chance we might get like a show teaser at JordanCon. I mean, JordanCon's not huge, but come on, it's the JordanCon. Like, these are your people. If there was ever it makes sense to do Comic-Con or DragonCon or probably Comic-Con if we're being honest, but come on, there's a JordanCon. Just use that.
Right. Just some little sizzle would be great. If just something.
Yeah, just happen to drop something on Prime that day that's really juicy. I don't know.
Yeah. Even if that was all it was. Yep. Well, we'll see. We'll be there, so we will see.
It'll be fun one way or another.
So on to the TV show news. The only real official news was the photo that was dropped on their Instagram of the day one filming of what pretty clearly was Emmons Field. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. You see the camera slide thingy, whatever the little train tracks are called.
Right. Yes. Yeah, it's dolly track.
Yeah, you can see definitely Emmons Field. I mean, it kind of confirms, with the leaked photos we saw, this is more bit of a higher quality photo than some of those.
Right.
I love the kind of dust or fog,
right?
Or maybe that's smoke coming out of the chimney. I don't know, but there's some.
It may just be early morning fog from right before, because this looks like it was taken like right at sunrise.
Yeah,
and so which may have been right before they started filming the first shot.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
So that's exciting, as we've talked about. That's the only official news that we have to discuss. But fortunately,
guys,
there's some less official news to talk about, too. Most recently, and I'm going to totally butcher this guy's name, Pasha Bokhari.
That's as good a chance as I would have taken at it, so I'm good with it.
So he's a new actor that lists on his Twitter that he's on Amazon.
Right.
English actor and a musician.
Mm-hmm.
The only question is, who is he playing?
Yeah. given the way we've seen casting choices, in some cases definitely match what we would envision, in other cases don't. It's just impossible to
impossible.
Tell. I mean, my first guess is maybe a Forsaken, but I don't know.
Right.
Maybe Ishmael.
Well,
I don't know. We don't have that
with
yet,
him
do we?
being, I mean, it's too early for this, but just because it listed him as a musician, I wondered if he was Osmodian.
Yeah, why not? Why not go ahead and introduce more of the Forsaken early? There's no reason not to. It wouldn't hurt anything, to have them all sitting together or whatever.
He could be Shamael.
I often wondered that. I mean, I guess it's just that they were released. They were a little bit further in, sealed into the Dark One's prison. I guess that's the reason we don't see all of them earlier, but it's like they get released and they get right to scheming real quick.
Yeah, it would probably be good. I don't know if they would want to go ahead and cast everybody, but if they were to do some kind of thing where they show all of the Forsaken bursting forth from the Dark One's prison or whatever.
Right? Yeah, that would be pretty nifty. That'd be one of those ways where the TV show could differentiate itself from the books, but not in a bad way. I mean, it's just the books didn't do that, and it doesn't matter that they didn't, but could be fun for sure.
I think that would be something that most folks would probably get behind. But yeah, more than likely he's not playing anything too big, but it's just interesting.
I'd be okay in that case for them to use some like Ghostbusters slime.
Yeah, they come out of the prison all slimed,
just
covered
a touch
in
of body horror. Yeah,
something like that.
That could be fun. The Blight's already kind of goes that direction a little bit.
Right. So we also found out who's going to be directing the season 1 finale, or if you're one of our British listeners, the series 1 finale.
Aha. Right.
Over in the States we call it a season, and then the whole show is the series. And I understand in the UK they call what we call the seasons, they call them series. But I've never heard them say, like, what do you call the entire show, start to finish? So if you're one of our UK listeners, you should write in and tell us.
Yeah, that's a legitimate question. It's a bake-off. They call it a bake-off.
I know I could probably Google that, but I would
more fun this way, definitely.
Yeah, crowdsource it and tell me. Anyway, the guy's name is Ciarán Donnelly, who's an Irish director. Now, who'd have guessed it with a name like that? Oh, Mr. Donnelly.
Yeah.
There's not too many German Donnellys, I don't think.
I certainly haven't met any.
But the main thing on this guy's resume is Vikings. He's directed.
Yep. We certainly have a theme here. He also has directed some Krypton.
Yes.
And Altered Carbon, which, Altered Carbon was fine. It was just fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like they're taking a lot of the creative team from Vikings. It kind of makes sense that they would start pulling some of the creative team from,
for sure,
a show that might have a similar kind of tone. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's slated to direct the season finale. I bet that he's probably going to do both episodes 7 and 8, just because so far all the other folks have done 2 episodes.
Sure. Yeah. Makes sense.
But here's the funny thing. He tweeted about this all the way back in January.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. Nobody saw it. Nobody got it until this past week.
Does no one follow him on Twitter?
I guess not.
Like me, I have 2 followers, I think.
TV directors aren't typically known for their large following on Twitter.
Yep, that makes sense.
One of the bigger things that got put out on the gram this past month were images of what, to me, looks definitely like a Waygate.
I could definitely see that being a Waygate. I could see the argument for portal stones, but you'd think a portal stone would be more cylindrical, like a pillar. That's the way it's described in the books. And the Waygate, for some reason I was thinking of a Waygates as more like Stonehenge-y. That's kind of my because you think about like the Vendosora leaf. I don't really see. I guess of course that would be CG, but it just seems very sharper edges maybe than I was picturing. But I don't know I could have just gotten a completely wrong mental image, and I don't remember if there is a good description of them in the books. Have you looked at that? I've completely
I
blanked
hadn't
on
looked
that.
back at the description of them. I know, I mean, it is definitely different than the way I had pictured them.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean certainly is the most likely choice, I would say.
Some people were wondering Portal Stone or Waygate. I mean, it just looks like Waygate to
Yeah, I
me.
can't imagine it would be a portal stone this early, even. I
Yeah,
mean, those show up in book 2,
right.
end of book 2, I believe.
And
Getting them to Falma.
we've got a fair amount of Waygates in the first
Yeah,
few books.
It's gotta be Waygate.
They also showed an image, and I haven't been able to find this one again. I think it may have been on a Instagram post by the Daily Trolloc, but there was an image of the same Waygate, but a huge green screen box dropped behind it.
That's definitely a telling sign that it's not just like an entrance to a city, or I mean, I guess it could be, but certainly would suggest a Waygate.
Somebody actually did wonder if it was like just a gate to a CG city, but I don't know.
It's like, okay, if they're going to do that, why would they even bother building the gate part? Just have the steps even,
right,
or nothing.
Yeah, and they have sound stages there in Prague. They could have done it indoors where the lighting would be better. I think if they built it in the middle of nowhere, they want it in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's my take. So I think it's a Waygate, but we'll see. Does anybody else have any thoughts? Let us know.
Please, speak up.
So the next thing, and this was probably, I don't know, the most exciting thing.
It was. I've sent this to several people. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
We were one of the first Instagram accounts to share it on Instagram, and we weren't the first to share it at all. It was off of somebody's Facebook post, and there were some people questioning the legitimacy of it. It seems
like leaky enough. Like this is not just a stage thing. Like this is really a sort of backstage video that was not really supposed to be released.
It appears to show a wolf attacking a white cloak, but it's kind of a behind the scenes. So you see
the puppy did not want to jump on the man at all. Yes. He was like, "Are you sure? Should I? I don't think I should, but okay. If you're telling me it's okay, I'll do it."
And as some people were pointing out, if this is legit as I think it is, then Wheel of Time will be using real good boys and not CG animals.
Which is the way it should be.
As we were looking at it and people were discussing, what breed of dog that might be or whatever, I did a little Googling and found out that there is a wolf dog breed called the Czechoslovakian wolf dog that is bred, obviously, in that part of the world.
Nice.
That looks pretty much exactly like the dog wolf canine in that video.
Love it.
That says that they are actually known for being pretty smart and easy to train and playful and everything. So it's like they if that's what they went with, that would be perfect for all of this. But anyway, we're wondering if this is possibly our first view of Hopper.
Yeah, and a white cloak getting attacked.
Right. The white cloak looks like he has some cool armor on.
Yeah.
And looks all...
Got a white tent in the background with some tiki torches.
Right. I will say this pretty much looks the way I pictured white cloaks.
Sure.
It's not a high quality video, so you can't really see like the sun.
Somebody's phone or something behind the cameraman.
Right. And it's dark on top of that. So if you guys haven't seen it, you can head over to our Instagram. It's a couple weeks back, and look
highly
there.
recommended.
See what you think. Is this a legitimate video? And if so, could this doggo be Hopper? Decide for yourself.
For sure.
So we got some less interesting Instagram-y stuff after that. Recently, Madeline Madden has been posting lots of goofy pictures of Marcus Rutherford in her stories of him just dressing up and doing goofy things, I guess, back in the apartments, wherever they're hanging out. Just looks like they're having fun.
It's always a good thing.
A few weeks back, a few cast members posted about going to snowy area. There's some video and photos of heading up someplace where there was lots of snow.
Perhaps.
Yeah, makes sense to me. So that was, I thought, a strong possibility. Priyanka Bose, who just loves Instagram, every now and then she'll post something to her stories. She did one that was she's done a couple actually in her makeup chair. And it's not like it's revealed anything huge, but one thing does seem clear, not like this is important, but it looks like she is going to be wearing a wig because in 2 different shots, you can see a wig off to the side on one of those. There's probably a proper name for the things that they put wigs on, those head things.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I should know what that is. But in all likelihood, I bet almost everyone is wearing a wig.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly the women. It makes the setup way faster if they can just slip on a wig.
Right. Well, it's like in The Witcher, Henry Cavill,
right.
It was like gung ho about, I'll dye my hair, I'll bleach my hair, and they're like, no, you shouldn't do that because then it could all fall out. So, like, if you go to too much of an extreme, you can lose all your hair. So it makes sense that plenty of folks wouldn't want to do that, and plenty of directors, producers wouldn't want to take the risk. Right. Like you might as well just wigs are fine. I mean, they work. They've gotten really good. Wig technology has come a long way.
Well, and I also think
in most cases, I mean, Arrow is one notable exception where, golly, that wig was always awful. The flashback wig.
Aquaman wigs were both the women had less than great wigs.
Fair, yeah. This is kind of like de-aging technology. It's the people who are really good at it are really good at it, and then there's some examples of it being less than excellent.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't expect us to talk this long on wigs, but while we're on the subject,
absolutely.
Rosamund Pike and Madeline Madden both, and Zoe Robbins, all of them cut their hair short at the start of production. So I suspect all of them are going to be wearing wigs. So for the people that are like upset because Rosamund Pike is a blonde and Moraine isn't, I very much suspect, that we're not going to be having a blonde Moraine.
Yeah.
So Sally Richardson Whitfield posted about wrapping up. Well, she didn't say wrapping up, but it was around the time that they're probably wrapping up episodes 5 and 6. She posted a video from set of the beautiful view around Prague. She's directing episodes 5 and 6, and just posted a video of her looking at just the beautiful vista around. And really, that whole area is very pretty.
For sure.
Sam and I have been near there. Now, did you go to the Czech Republic? I didn't.
I did. I went to Prague. I took a train from Vienna to Prague. And I mean, just that bridge, there's like the famous bridge, you know what I'm talking about. Like,
right.
I wouldn't mind if they found a way to make that, bring that into the show, change it just enough so it's not like, oh, this is obviously Prague. But yeah, I mean, I love that city. I mean, main thing was they said stay away from the absinthe. But anyway, which I did. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful city, and just the area surrounding it, just very naturally.
Yes,
beautiful.
For sure. Yeah.
So Jennifer Chion Garcia has been sticking around Prague a little longer than I would have expected Liana to be in the show at this point.
So either she's seeing the sights or Liana is in the show more, which could be fair.
Yeah, either one could be the case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's entirely possible that people complain all the time who read the books about there being just hundreds of Aes Sedai that are that you could easily mash into one. But I don't know. I'm curious because, of course, Varen is a fan favorite, and if you just
really hope they don't cut Varen,
right? And if they just mash her up with Liana or Alana, then I don't think
not cool. Yeah, not cool. Yeah. There are plenty of others that you could mash together, but leave Varen alone.
Yeah. On to some miscellany. As we said, Jordan Con.
Heck yeah.
Is going to be April 17th through the 19th. You can visit jordancon.org if you want to get your tickets or find out who's going to be there. I will at least be there, and Sam too, but I don't know. He may stay longer than me. I will be there on the 18th, and I guess we might go on the 17th too. I don't know. We haven't made too firm of plans yet.
Yeah, not sure.
But we'll definitely both be there on the 18th, Lord willing. And I don't know. I was thinking maybe we could come up with some kind of Tai'Shar Manetheren podcast swag to wear, something so that if anybody happened to see us and recognize, we could I don't know, come up with
in a pinch, we'll be wearing 10-gallon hats and an eye patch. I don't know.
There you go. So yes, 10-gallon hats sounds good to me.
I will have to buy one. Why did I suggest something I don't have?
I don't either. Okay, we'll come up with something different.
We'll come up with something better.
And I feel like there's maybe an 8% chance that we might get 5 minutes with Sarah Nakamura to interview her briefly. And if you don't know who she is the show's lore expert, and she's going to be at the con again this year. She goes every year. I was actually surprised when she tweeted about it, and I tweeted at her and said, I guess you're going to have to miss this year because you'll be in Prague still probably, right? And she said, why would I miss it? And so she's going to be there, I imagine severely jet lagged.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
And I imagine that a lot of people will be trying to get time with her. I wouldn't actually want to interview her about the show. I know she probably can't talk about anything.
Sure.
Just, give her a high five and have her say like 5 words for a podcast, and I would be happy.
Yeah. Her voice on your voicemail.
There you go. Yeah, pay $20 and get her to do an outgoing message. I think those folks do at cons all the time.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, we'll see. I think Daniel Green will be there, and a few other of the kind of bigger names in the Wheel of Time creator community will probably be hanging out. And so, maybe we'll finally get a chance to look at these people from a distance instead of looking at them on our screens.
Exactly. Yeah. And who knows? Maybe Jordan Con will be bigger next year after the show comes out. Maybe bigger than Day of the Dead. That was a horror one. It was a one-day thing.
Bigger than Shatterdome. Some friends of mine went to one in Atlanta that was all based around Pacific Rim.
Oh, wow.
And, they said, they said it was like maybe 100 people or something.
Yeah, that's how this Day of the Dead. This was just a couple of years ago when I went, but Day of the Dead may have gotten bigger since then. Probably has.
I don't think this con is going on. That Shatterdome one is going on anymore.
Fair. It doesn't surprise me.
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe we can Google it. If you go to the Shatterdome con, write us and let us know.
Please, yeah. Speak up and defend your con and tell us why you go.
Other miscellaneous stuff. We have a YouTube channel now, but don't get too excited. We're not publishing like videos to it. It's just these
right.
These same podcasts that are going out. So if you go onto YouTube, search for Tai'Shar Manetheren, and you should be able to find us. If we get 100 subs, we can get our own custom URL. If you have ever created a YouTube channel, you know how that goes. So if you could head over there with all your multiple Gmail accounts, because we know you have several, and subscribe, that would help us out. And we did get a comment on one of our videos over there. So
nice.
YouTube user Baylorn says, I'm loving listening to these podcasts. It's cool to get someone else's take on the series. So
that is a shockingly positive YouTube comment.
That's so weird. And I mean, to go with what everybody is bragging about on Twitter at time, that is kind of this.
We have a good community right now.
Right. Yeah, this fandom is very healthy. Yeah. So let's just take all of this.
Just keep that.
And remember what it was like a year from now when we have a whole bunch of really toxic people that have infiltrated.
The Joker from Suicide Squad cosplayers that have moved over to cosplaying as, I don't know, Ishmael or whatever.
Yeah, sexy Aiel.
Oh,
I don't know how that would work, but. So, we also received an email from Reem Hashemi, the Emirates minister and state manager director of some conference in Dubai. And he was emailing us to ask to manage funds in the amount of $44,762,906.
What about 907? I mean, really? Come on, man.
No, it's 906. It's real because of this exact amount.
It's a very specific number.
He wants our bank account info so we can invest those funds. And, he wants us as an investment partner. So,
well, too bad for him. We don't have a bank account.
It's true. We don't.
Tough luck there, Remy.
We're just going to have to pass that one up.
Emirates Minister State. Wow. That's quite a title, though.
Yeah. He's some world conference thing in Dubai. So
it's like my old job. I was the North American PVC quality and process coordinator. They called me Mr. North America, which was that never got old. But yeah, it's like titles. So great.
So is there anything else, Sam, that you were thinking about in regards to the show? Or
pretty exciting to see some of this stuff coming out, be good to get a trailer one of these days, teaser.
Yeah, man.
Something. Come on. We got to be coming up on time for that. It's got to be editing stuff at this point, you'd think.
Right. Something. I do feel like, by April they could have a little more, maybe a public sizzle reel. There was some mention of a sizzle reel being put out. I think Priyanka or somebody, they watched it maybe. And that's typically not something that is used for marketing. It's used kind of internally to
send it to the execs or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Here's what your money's getting spent on. Please don't cancel us.
Right. Unlike cable shows, it would get used to sell advertising.
Right.
But yeah, in this case,
issue here. Better not have any advertising in.
Right. It'll be the first Amazon show with advertising.
Right. Just randomly holds up a Coke can. Like, this is from the Age of Legends. Just ignore it. Where did this come from?
It's crisp and delicious. Anyway.
No taint whatsoever in this Coke can. I think we've covered most things that have come up. I guess we're gonna be talking again in a few weeks to dive into the second half of Fires of Heaven. We got some of that left to do. And personally, I'm excited to get through Fires of Heaven and get onto the Lord of Chaos, because this is the first book I will be reading along. Yeah, because I just went through the first 5 really fast last year, so I've been just kind of reading back, checking back on them. So it'll be nice to be doing a show about a book as I read it. Honestly,
right.
Down a little bit.
Yeah, instead of trying to remember something you read 4 months ago.
And then going back, just going back and paging through it. Yeah, it'd be nice. So we would love for you to visit our website, tsmpodcast.com. Fill out our contact form. If you say nice things, we'd love to give you a shout out. If you have some valid correction, we'll address it. If you have just random, vague things that are not helpful, then we may call you out anyway, or we may ignore you.
We may passive aggressively mention you in other ways, without acknowledging that we actually read it.
Absolutely, yeah. But please send it in if it'll make you feel better.
We can.
You
take
do
it.
You, man. It's all good. Follow us on social media, Podcast TSM. That is not TSM Podcast TSM on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and as always, Tai'Shar Manethrin.